on our OBS system here, and we keep losing bit rate. So you might experience some buffering. I apologize. We're going to have to try to figure this thing out here as time goes on. I'm not sure this problem started happening last show. So we'll see if we can get through the show. Hopefully you won't get too much buffering and lose too much of the show. Man, I really hope it doesn't interrupt things. But anyway, thank you for joining me. My name is Frank Perdomo. This is PBH Live, episode 29. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting Power by the Hour Performance and our YouTube channel and what our efforts basically in the Coyote Swap community. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. We specialize in Coyote Swap and Godzilla Swap components. We're slowly looking at that stuff moving forward. 6R80 and 10R80 transmissions, custom tuning as well. Power by the Hour Performance is located in West Palm Beach, Florida, right at the end of the airstrip of Palm Beach International Airport. We've been in the business, especially the Coyote Swap business, probably since 2011-12 when they first came out. We were a performance shop and slowly gravitated into doing Coyote Swaps using one of our shop vehicles. And now it's become a full lineup of Coyote Swap components, and that's all we do. So, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Hit that notification bell. The notification bell, hit all. That's actually what's most vital for our analytics, to let people know what we're doing, when we do it, and get the videos kind of throttled out there to the rest of YouTube. So other people just like you can get the same great tech that we offer you here free of charge for your Coyote Swap projects, and let you know about upcoming products and other items that are going to be available for you soon in the marketplace for Coyote Swaps. All right, so website, pbhperformance.com. Phone number, 561-737-2331. You can call us Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We got 4 great salespeople on the phones. Myself, Frank Pezzo, Christian Papa, and Travis Dean. If you need to email us something we don't cover in the show, maybe you have a question or need a link to a product we talked about, info@pbhperformance.com. We'll take care of that. We do, as you can see on the screen, have the live chat. If you have any questions, post them up in there. We will try to get to everyone in all the comments. In a second here, we'll do our regular hellos to all of our favorite members. And if you definitely have a question, you want to contribute, you want to make sure it gets seen or said or heard, you can use a super chat, not only to help support the channel with a monetary donation, which we greatly appreciate, but it makes sure that I cover that topic for you right then and there. And we can cover it, and then you can actually go back to the chat and converse with the rest of the members of the show, distinguished members of the show. Tonight we're going to be talking about, it's kind of a soft topic night, but scammers using my likeness to sell Coyote engines. How interesting. That was a customer of ours who sent us that information. They emailed this week. We did make a post about it. We'll cover a little bit. It's kind of a funny story. It's kind of flattering. It's kind of scary. One of the things you're going to want to look out for there, obviously, if you're looking for used Coyote engines. And then we're going to also cover, it was a bad day at the Autocross for me and the PBH Coyote Swap Coupe. We had some issues, necessarily mechanical, but classification. And the competition has pulled out a new weapon in the battle. The final stages of the battle, we're in the playoffs here for the championship in the unlimited class that I am in. So we'll cover that. We got some video from that as well. I ran 2 personal bests back to back. So there is some light at the end of the tunnel. I think we're going to be able to, at least put up a fight to see if we can win this championship and move forward. So again, I apologize if there's any buffering. We'll hopefully get that figured out for next week. But right now, it looks like everything's good. So we'll just keep rolling. So, have you ever wondered if you were answering a Craigslist ad, a Facebook Marketplace ad, even eBay, if it was a scam? What are the things you look for in those scams? A customer sent us an email saying that he was getting scammed by a guy on Craigslist for a Coyote engine. And when he asked for proof of the engine with the guy standing in front of it, we're going to cover that here in a second. Let's say hello to some people. Let's see. Rob. Rob was first tonight. He wins absolutely nothing, but thank you for being there, brother. Lorraine, 2000 MCR, Great Odin's Raven. Never gets old, brother. Keep him coming. Joe Leslie, thank you for joining us, brother. Matthew Plavidal, he is in the way of another damn storm. If you're in Louisiana, the Panhandle, any of those areas, God bless you. You are getting pummeled this year with storms that don't even have names anymore. They're just Greek alphabet. I don't even know what they're going to do next. They're just emojis. It'll just be emojis, hurricanes coming at you. I don't know. But hang in there. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully it passes and you don't have too much damage. Wild Horse Racing evening. He says he's looking forward to tonight's show. So am I. Poncho 2 Valve says, where is the 3-valve Mustang wiring harness? Well, we're still working out kinks. That's where it is. We got tuning things to figure out. We got production things to figure out. We've had plenty of time to figure it out. Yeah, it keeps changing. We keep finding different issues, keep working through them. So that's where it's at. It's not ready. And we're working towards it being ready, but it's not ready right now. So we can't release it. Not an option. We could come out with instructions maybe and tell you guys how to rewire it. That is an option, potentially, if we can't get this thing up off the ground and know 1,000% it's going to work as a production piece. But I don't think we're there yet. I think we can make it work. And we're getting some help from Jeremy Dover, the guys from Foxcast Media, Caleb. He's been broadcasting and showing that harness installation on his channel, which is renewed interest in it, and we have a ton of emails and a ton of people asking us for it. We will get it done in one capacity or another, but we haven't given up on it. It's just not available yet for release, and it's because we don't have it 1,000% figured out, 110% and 1,000,000% figured out, and we don't release it to have a bunch of tech on the jackpot trying to finish the project. So that's where it is right now, and we're just going to have to continue being patient to before it comes out. So I'm sorry, brother. Believe me, we want it out there as much as you do. Let's see here. Arthur, what's going on, brother? Project T-Top Coyote, what's going on? Renner 595959, what's up? It's good talking to you earlier this week, man. Hopefully you got all that thing, the wiring figured out there. Jordan Dunning says howdy. Let's see. Rob says he messaged the scammer guy, said the engine was from China. We had his guy import it. Yeah, not great. So yeah, the scammer email. Thanks for everybody for joining us tonight, and hopefully you have subscribed to our channel, and hopefully our stream is nice and smooth tonight. So sorry again, I apologize. So the scammer email came through. Guys saying, hey, I got a Gen 2 Coyote somewhere in Texas and got it available. I'm going to show you some screenshots that were sent to me, the same ones we posted up this week if you didn't catch on to it. And sure enough, the guy asked for a picture of the seller in front of the engine, giving the shaka. And the guy responds with some photos of me in front of engines, screenshots from some of our videos, which obviously it's not me. I don't do that kind of stuff. But here, take a look at what was sent to the conversation, what it looked like here. The scammer in gray. Why don't you send the 4K on goods and services if you get protected? And it'll ask Lily Cousin, I don't know what the hell's a PayPal account now. And dude's right on top of it, 100%. Take a photo of yourself in front of the motor with this sign. Honestly, maybe I get my driver to go over there and pick it up. Please do tell the driver to come over here, and with cash, you have my address. So that's kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't know what the guy's willing to do for this cash. He's going to send a driver over there, someone's going to get clunked over the head, and $4 grand's going to be swiped from him. I'll be expecting your driver. That's better, because in a lot of cases, maybe next week. Even my little brother's been robbed off of COD. He's trying to play the victim now. He goes, hey, when's it coming? When's it coming to pick up the engine? He goes, how about pick a view in front of the motor first with the symbol? There's no need for that, please. He says, okay, I'm out. Take care. Just give your driver the cash next week and we will have the engine. Business. So, what's he do? I can send you pics of a warehouse full of engines and motors. Hope you're real, but until I can feel it, I won't do business. That's the buyer. So then he sends you the picture of me in front of a Godzilla engine from one of the videos we did quickly on Instagram, which isn't even the Coyote engine that he's trying to sell. He says, okay, man, so I'll be expecting your driver next week? Question. He goes, I'll send the money FF, which we all know what that means. Not. So he caught on to it right away. I think dude went on to say his name was George Thompson, and he used my likeness. And here, the buyer sends him a screenshot of all of our YouTube videos showing him that he knows who that person is. And he says, I wonder how many suckers you try to fool, which is nice. And then sure enough, he responds to him after he says his name is George Thompson with another photo of me from actually Alex Flores' live stream that I did a while ago. He said that dude's name isn't George, it's Frank. I spoke with him yesterday. I do business with PBH, and they aren't in Texas. You weren't even close to getting me. I just played along because I'm bored. Gave you a phony address earlier. You should be ashamed of yourself. Work hard for a living, man. Well, that's pretty entertaining and flattering for sure. That I guess when you search Coyote engines and you see this mug, it's out there, which is part of the process, I guess, of successfully penetrating the Coyote swap market to the point where the scammers say, yeah, it's me. Yeah, you can trust me, that's me. Maybe they even know that. Maybe they just picked up a picture of a guy in front of a Coyote engine. They got lucky, but they got a hell of a guy to spread that information. I actually emailed the Craigslist ad, and I got a response, and I think they got picked up on it pretty quick because it was from Frank at PBH Performance, and I got emails and messages from other guys throughout the week saying they were trying to get a hold of the scammer and see if they can get anywhere with him and get some good information from him, or at least get him to lie in an interesting manner. So interesting that scamming on Coyote swap engines is happening. Anything with value, I would imagine, is where the scamming is happening. And that's what's going to continue to happen as long as there's value in them. So, guys, obviously, if you're buying new or used, make sure you're buying from somebody reputable. Make sure it's corroborated, that this person's real. Whatever you got to do. I've never run into that problem myself, and I'm sure it happens to plenty of people. Don't send cash in an envelope to a guy who says he's from the IRS, that kind of stuff. Protect yourself at all times. Try to use a credit card, so if it is a scam, maybe you can get your money back. Cash deals are local only, and they better have the goods with them. Take a friend. Make sure you inspect everything. Make sure it's on the up and up. If you got to, demand that it goes to somebody, a third party, and have it done there. You can even do the deals. I heard people do it in police parking lots and stuff like that. They have designated parking spots for those kind of dealings, so there's no issues. So take care of yourself. And I'm not George Thompson. I don't have a evil twin brother in Texas that also does Coyote swaps on the side. There is no laptop that I left at a repair facility with a bunch of business connections. I don't have a cousin that does this kind of stuff or even remotely looks this good. And I don't have any missing children that may have grown up and decided to impersonate me and sell Coyote engines. So that being said, be careful. Actually, someone just brought up something interesting I forgot to mention. Peyton Lucas mentions that he loves seeing the PBH brackets on Hot Rod Garage Coyote swap. Tony Angelo had posted they were doing a Coyote swap on Instagram, and Christian reached out to him right away and said, dude, if you're doing a Coyote swap on a new Edge, if you're not talking to us already, then you're probably missing out on some products. We got a lot of stuff we can help you with. And sure enough, the next day he called up and said, hey, man, what are we supposed to do with this and that? We walked him through it like we do with a lot of our customers, and they ended up buying a few parts and putting them on the show and tagging us in some of the stuff, linking us in some of the videos, and it's going to be on their Motor Trend app, and I don't know if it ends up in the regular circulation on the Motor Trend channel, but they're filming it. And of course, there's all sorts of talk of why didn't you just put an LS motor in it, this and that, and they haven't even gotten to the fun part with the Coyote stuff. I think they're really going to like it once they get it ripping, if they stick with it and really start looking for power out of it. So it's really cool to work with guys like that. They're a big personality. They're very, very well known. They're very down to earth. I think they still, looking at some of the videos and the posts they've made, they still think they're working with an LS motor because they fired it up with no intake tube on it and then kind of looked around because it stalled right away. But hopefully we'll get some more feedback from them on how it goes, and the show turns out really cool, and we'll all get to enjoy it. So, Autocross. I went to the Autocross on Saturday, and what's happened with the Autocross that I'm in, the league that I'm in, the PBIR Autocross League, I am in the unlimited class, which we've talked about here on the show quite a bit. The reason I'm on the unlimited class, even though I qualify for the V8 class, which is all street car stuff, is that I trailer the car out there. And currently in their rules, if you trailer the car out there, you cannot compete in the lower classes. You got to be in unlimited because they want street cars. Fine. So I said, bump me to unlimited. We'll see how it goes. And everything's been going great. We've been competing and winning. I've been able to come out ahead of a lot of the guys that have come out there. There's been a few guys that have been close. And I recognizing there's some cars and drivers out there with a lot of potential to, basically beat me with mechanical advantage. But no one has shown up on slicks. Everybody's been out there on 200 tread-wear tires. So this past Saturday, went out there. It was a double header. So that means you can get points for the early afternoon event, and you can get points for the evening event. And sure enough, I'm in the lead with points, and the two guys that are trailing behind me are there. And guess what they both have on? Brand new Hoosier A7 slicks. DOT slicks. So I'm like, okay, let's see how this goes. And, the track isn't rubbered in. It was raining like crazy. It's not going to be a great surface. Let's see how it goes. And sure enough, it was a struggle for everybody. And my previous best that I had reported, and you guys had seen on the show, was a 50.999, which for me was a big milestone because I got down into the 50s. And that's pretty damn quick. I mean, no one's gone quicker than a 48 out there. And that was a GT2 Porsche on Hoosiers, unlimited. The guy had talent like crazy, but we'd never seen him again. And I knew that I can probably get further into the 50s. But what happened was, with these slick-laden cars, these cheater slicks, they are legal for the class since it's unlimited, as long as it's a DOT tire. And sure enough, the guy's got a 911S, launch control, all the fun stuff. And he goes out there first thing in the morning and runs like a 49.8. I'm like, well, I got to find a whole second around a course that I've been driving for a while, and I can drive in anger. And I can probably find some time, but I don't know if there's a second out there, especially with my tires. They're 200 tread wear, and they're a year and a half old now, and I've been putting some abuse to them, so they're probably not really up to spec, especially not that spec. So we begin to run, and sure enough, I'm all over the place. I got no grip. I had rotated the tires that morning before I went out there, and whatever was going on between the tire rotation and the track surface, I had zero grip. It was non-existent. I hit so many damn cones, and I wasn't the only one. There was guys spinning out, going through the grass, out of control, and everyone's just kind of scratching their head what's going on. And I think what it is that surface just naturally, we got like 4 inches of rain last week between the two storms on each side of Florida and the Atlantic and in the Caribbean, that all it did was basically bring water up through the asphalt, and it just brings all the oil and grease that's kind of down below the surface up to the top, and it just sits there, and everyone had to go out there and run through it until it was gone. Of course, the guys on slicks didn't have an issue for some reason, but we did, and a lot of the guys did. I ate a 4-foot cone, and I mean, I hit this thing square. I got it stuck under the car. I thought it was going to catch on fire or melt. And they just, at the driver's meeting, announced how proud they were that they bought these new cones. And I destroyed one. I rubbed half of the thing. I rubbed it in half. It was gone. So, wasn't too proud of that, but I knew it wasn't my fault. I was just trying to be as quick as I can, and drive as hard as I could. So, 49.6 ends up being the guy's fastest time. I got a lot of work to do, and sure enough, a guy I'm friendly with out there has a little Lotus 7 Caterham You might have played or driven one on Forza or Gran Turismo. These are tiny little open wheel cars, but this thing's got I think it's a Yamaha or Honda motorcycle engine in it, single turbo. It's got 400 horsepower, and it weighs nothing. And sure enough, he's on slick. So what does he do? He goes out and he runs in the 49s. Now at that point, I'm in the staging lanes, and I'm like, man, I got to really screw my head on right. And the gentleman who was in the Porsche kind of was walking up and down the staging lanes, and he was talking to a few people, and he got up to my car, and he kind of motioned, kind of like, I don't know if he's telling me, hey, you're spinning your tires, or come on, like, where you at? Like step it up, you know? Which, I'm not too fiery, I guess. I'm not the kind to get into fights and start talking shit. But you don't want to motivate me a whole lot, because I will compete at whatever cost if motivated. So sure enough, they got into my head, and I drove like shit again for 2 or 3 laps, and I came back in, relaxed, let the car cool down, took some tire pressure out of it, and just relaxed. Even took a little nap. The guy in the Lotus goes out, gets his tires warmed up, and lays down a 48.9. So now we're all in trouble. Turns around and runs like a 48.6. It's flying. And, hey, it could be quicker, I would think. There's definitely more on the table, but, I mean, this thing's flying. So now we got a problem, because not only is the Porsche quicker than me, but the Lotus is quicker than me. And I'm kind of pissed off over there trying to figure out what this guy was trying to do, what he's trying to say, and trying to block it out. Finally, after a nice break, I went out with the new and ran my previous best in the low, and I cut a 50.8. I was like, shit, all right. Now we're rocking and rolling. Let's see what else we got. No one was in line. I hot lapped it right back in the line and ran a 50.6, which is my best. Is it my ultimate best on this combination? Probably not. But I think we're definitely pushing it in the right direction. But with used tires right now and a track surface that was questionable at best, I think that was about as good as going to get that day. And sure enough, I wasn't able to run any quicker. And what I'm going to do now is show you some of that video from that day, so that you can see exactly what it was going around there, because they were concurrent. I didn't even have to stop other than to restart the car at the starting line, which is nice about this autocross. It's not 3 runs and you're done. It's basically you have a time. There's 3 hours with a break in between, and go get as many laps as you can. If there isn't more than 25 drivers or run one group. If there's more than 25 drivers, there's 2 groups, and then you have a group A, group B, group A, group B, 30 minutes at a time. Get as many runs as you want. So here is my 50.8 is first, and then the second run is 50.6. Check it out. Yep, that was the 50.8 right there. You can see on the board. I let out a little enthusiasm, I would say, towards the end. I get right back in the line. No one's waiting. Let's rip. Work off some rubber on the tires. Make sure they're nice and clean. And the car is definitely understeering. That's something we're making adjustments for now. We got some new tricks. We got an alignment done already. We got some new wheels and tires on the way. So here's the 50.6, fastest run all time for me on this track. All right, 50.6. Not bad. It was a lot of fun, I know that, but definitely looking at that video and watching it over and over again, I can already see where I left some time on the track. I wasn't as close to the cones as I should have been. The car wasn't angled right in a couple of turns. Getting on the power was a little lackadaisical because I had a lack of front grip. That lack of front grip is something that Jack Hidley at Maxim Motorsports is helping me with. We got some new springs to put in it. I did get an alignment done locally here. Ernie Bella Motorsports. I've known him for years. He's known my parents since he's known my dad since my dad was knee high to a duck. The guy's an expert at alignments and high end stuff, and he helped me out. Sure enough, the alignment that was on the car was a little bit out of whack. Had a little bit more toe out on the passenger side versus the driver's side, which isn't good. And I had 4.2 degrees of negative camber on the right front and about 3.8 on the left front. So now I got an even 3.9 on both sides. And we got about a 1/4 inch of toe out even, which is good. You want toe out because that improves your steering quickness. It's a little bit more agile that way. It's not great for road racing. It's not even great for street driving. But for autocross, toe out is a really good thing because then you can definitely get the steering to be a little bit quicker. And autocross, it's all about getting from point to point as quick as possible and making the course as short as possible. And then, using the Mustang as a point and click, point and shoot car, that's the other key. Trying to get on the power as soon as possible. And the only way you're going to do that is if you have grip. And we don't have a whole lot of front grip, So the other thing that's coming is a brand new set of F14 Forge Stars 315 square with the RT660s from Falcon. That's the new hot 200 treadwear tire. I did consider buying slicks, but they're like $1,600 in my size, and that's not going to work. That's not in the budget. And the end goal really is to compete in autocrosses where everyone's on a 200 treadwear tire. As much as I would love to just dominate everywhere I go, running Hoosier A7s, the affordability just isn't there, and it's only for this. And here we go. We're going into the last 3 events of the year, and I got a 3-point lead. The way it works out is if you win, you get 3 points. Second place gets 2. Third place gets 1, right? So now that these 2 guys are on slicks, I can try to chip away at the Porsche. He's closest to me. I got a 3-point lead on him. The other guy with the Lotus hasn't done enough events. I think mathematically he's out. He can't. If he wins the next 3, he still doesn't have enough points to surpass us as long as we're scoring points. The problem I run into is the next event is November 13th, and I have a trip planned for my 40th birthday, which is coming up. So I can't go to that event. That means if the Porsche guy and the Lotus guy show up, they can score big points. But now my hopes are that if the Porsche guy shows up, the Lotus guy shows up, and make sure the Porsche guy doesn't get 3 points. That way, when I show up for the last 2 events, at least I have a 1-point lead. And if he comes in second and I come in third, the best he can do is tie me. And then that will give me the last event head-to-head, if he's there, with him. And whoever goes quicker wins. And that's all you can ask for, to try to outperform somebody. Mechanically, I think he's going to have a huge advantage, but I'm going to give it everything I can. New wheels, new tires, new alignment, new spring rate, and just drive as quick and be as smart as possible with the time that's allotted. And if I can pull it off, I will finally be the champion of something other than other things that I've done in life that aren't racing. I'll finally be some sort of a winner in the automotive arena, short of the local autocrosses and stuff like that. So it'd be pretty cool if I can pull it off. And I'm doing it all with PBH equipped Coyote swap, accessory drive bracket. I've always used this car as an example of how rigid and how good the Coyote alternator combination works. That alternator, it's on the car. It's the same one that I put on from day one. It's now 3.5 years of ass beating. Spun around the other direction where I keep hearing how it doesn't work, and spinning around, they overheat and all this other stuff. Forget it. This is proof positive that you can run your alternator in reverse without a doubt. I've only changed the belt once, and that was just out of habit, Didn't want to have had a little bit of wear on it. That was about it. Didn't have any issues. Didn't throw a belt or anything like that. So, but anyway, that was a long dissertation of what was going on. Let's get into the chat and see what's going on. JB, thank you for the contribution, man. We need to see motivated Frank do a track day with Alex Flores. I think we could probably put something like that together. I'd like to get Alex, if we're going to go anywhere, I'd like to take him to Sebring. Now, what would be really cool is to go to Sebring, get the alignment set back up for the road course, put the air dam on the car, the big wing on the car, show up on the 315s with the power uncorked, and see how much quicker I can get the car compared to what I used to run it at. Because I still have all the old gear. I still have all the brake pads and the brake ducts and all that stuff. I can go to race mode, road course mode, with about a day in the shop. I can make it all happen. So it'd be neat to take him to do that. I know I don't think it's in his scope of stuff he's doing right now, but it's always nice to try different stuff. Homestead's another option, but Sebring's it for us. I mean, others may disagree, but there's nothing in our area here in the entire state of Florida. I'd rather Sebring every single time if I had the option. So for sure. So let's see. Did I miss anything in the chat here? Let's see here. Don Atcher. Atcher? I think I said it right. Atcher. F-150, S550. What's going on, brother? It says 1980 Notch Autocross project looking for power. Coyote is a good spot for that. Definitely consider that. We can do it. Godzilla? Maybe. We'll see what happens. Looks like people are starting to use them and getting some numbers finally, but Coyote works. With the right gearing and so forth like that. Eric Sight says, next storm, hurricane poo emoji. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's either going to be like this emoji or the tear or just a steaming pile of poop. Let's see. Alfredo Diaz, I almost got scammed on a set of comp stage 3 cams. You sent me stock cams and removed the cam card stickers. Luckily, I screenshot of the ad before my messages were sent and won the dispute with eBay. That's key. I can imagine. I see posts all the time on Facebook and different groups of people getting, hey, I bought an intake and I got a pile of rocks in a box. I don't even know. I mean,